We are gonna dive into a first impressions look into the Thirsty Swords Lesbians tabletop role-playing game and see what it's all about so we can figure out whether or not this is right for you. But before we do, let's take a moment to admire just how amazing the art is for this game. I personally love the queer rep, the cute art, and the saucy situations that are depicted in the illustrations. At first glance, I think this would be a fun tabletop role-playing game with a twist that everyone should at least look into. And with that said, I'm Tatiana Volk, the GM Witch, and this is our cue to jump right in. All right, let's get into it. So I haven't really had a chance to look through this yet, so we're going to look through it together. I did see that we have all of the people who participated in the project. So we've got the creator and the designer, April Kit Walsh, along with some contributors, a development consultant, and so on and so forth. So I like that. Then we have our table of content and the introduction. Your thirsty sword lesbians may be fantasy heroes or may inhabit a galaxy of lesser swords and starships. Anywhere that swords cross and hearts race, thirsty sword lesbians are there. Love, swords, and adventure. All right, so we have a twist when it comes to the RPG. We also have some gorgeous art, and it tells you what you can expect to find in the book. So it says here that the game begins as soon as you gather with your friends and are ready to bring your imaginary world to life. Some groups find it helpful to use a ritual to signal that the group's focus is moving to the game, such as lighting a candle, starting some background music, or summarizing what happened in a previous session. The goal of this game is for everyone to have a good time. So we've got the player's agenda, stand for justice and liberation. Got a list of flirting ideas. No fascists or bigots allowed. Safety and consent. They have a whole page for that. And then we get into the actual core rules. What it happens if you're defeated. Oh, also additional information on future pages. It kind of lets you know where you have to go, how you gain experience and advance throughout the game, and then it goes to the moves section. So as you can see, this is just gorgeous, and it looks like we have some playbooks. So information on making your own characters, which you can choose a playbook and then fill out the playbooks. And then they have some playbooks here as well. And it looks like there's a big part that involves relationships between characters. There's just a lot of awesome stuff here. Their aesthetics, their stats, their destiny, and then their moves and what you can expect if you're playing that type of character. Look at the art. Just absolutely gorgeous stuff in here. The Nature Witch, love it. This makes me so happy to see the diversity within the types of characters that we see. Just well put together illustrations. Like, there's a lot to love. And then there's so many informations here. All right, and now we get into the GMing of the game. You know, just reminders that you should be excited about the PCs and their stories. Make the world action-packed and perilous. Make adversaries appealing. Create space for the PCs to feel their feelings. And make the story vivid and personal. Then it talks about the moves that the GM has. Moves that the GM has based off of the different types of playbooks. Ooh, so we can do specific things based off of the specific type of characters people are playing. Information about NPCs. Advice for specific story elements. That's helpful. So if you've got relationship triangles, since this obviously is a game about relationships and love and connections. Couples with obstacles, relationship anarchy, mystery, intrigue, celebration, utopia, invasion. So it's got tips on a lot of different elements that you can expect. Custom GM moves for toxic powers trying to change the status quo. So many specific things to try and help you as a GM. Using conditions to build tension. A lot of this stuff is really useful. I imagine, in all honesty, that you can use some of this advice for RPGs outside of this. All right, and then information about the pacing and how to end the game. And then there's just an advanced GMing session. So when the dice go rogue, long form examples of play. That's nice. Give you some ideas, something to kind of go off of. Settings and adventure. I love the idea of collaborative world building. I play a lot of Dungeon World with some friends, and that has that interactive world building aspect, which I think is absolutely fantastic if you're with the right players. The following settings are tailor-made for Thirsty Swords Lesbian to dive into heroics and angst. So we have, I'm assuming, a couple of settings. So the Star-Crossed Galaxy, which it has information about the setting, campaigns, seeking connections, characters, custom rules, names. All right, and then we have Lesbians Coffee House. I'm assuming this is another setting. Yeah, setting, campaign, basics. All right, and then we have Neon City, 3 Orders of Ardor. So right off the bat, you have multiple campaign settings and adventure ideas to start your game, so you don't have to buy separate things to figure out what the world's like. But of course, you can always come up with your own things as well. But I love that it has these stories right off the bat, these adventures that you can play. And it seems a little bit more adventure based instead of just setting based, because it has, you know, setup questions and scene ideas and what's really going on. Granted, this is the settings and adventures section, so perhaps some are more set up as adventures and some are more set up as settings. Here we have a GM section that contains spoilers. I like that it says that. So if you're flipping through as a player, you don't have to spoil things. Okay, and then customizing your game, why roll dice, customizing basic moves, variant rules. I always love when games like this have variations for playing, adjusting the premise. What if not magic? What if not thirsty? Telling trans stories. Now we have a whole entire section about this, and I think this is absolutely fantastic for a book like this. A glossary that tells you about some of the terms that get used. And then we have the acknowledgments in the index. And then we have game start guide in the back here. Some GM reference quick guides, basic move reference, danger moves, world building worksheet, relationship worksheet, and love notes. I absolutely adore this. This is friggin' fantastic. And of course, if you enjoyed this, be sure to include a sword emoji down below. And that wraps up the first impressions. Technically, that was from quite some time ago. I have since then received the Advanced Lovers and Lesbians copy with some extended rules and things like that. I have yet to actually open it up. So if you are interested in me really doing a deep dive review, let me know, because that is something I would like to do in addition to these first looks in the future. And I also think this might be a fun game to attempt a solo play for. It's not designed for that, but I do want to do some solo play, actual plays on the channel. So if you like that, I would love to hear it. Since this has been out for a while at this point, let me know if you've played this and what your thoughts are on the game. And if you would like to see more videos, definitely check them out here, and I will catch you in the next one. Until then, bye! me trying to make a sexy Thirsty Sword Lesbians thumbnail.